Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my Moon Mage hard enamel pin. Every month in 2023, I'll be releasing a new standalone RPG cat through my website. This month's design is the Moon Mage, so let's get into the design. One of my kids was nearby when I was flipping through my sketchbook trying to determine which designs I was going to move forward with for the standalone RPG cats this year. And as I recall, when I got to the page that had the Moon Mage on it, I heard an enthusiastic, "I like that. What is it?" Which, by the way, I love the order in which those reactions took place. You know, it's kind of that, I don't know what it is, but I know that I like it. I just love that about kids, you know? Anyway, I explained that it was a Moon Mage or a Lunar Mage, and that I thought it might be kind of like a Sorcerer kind of vibe to it. I don't know that my kids necessarily get the whole difference between, sorcerer or wizard or warlock as far as, what they might look like. But they know enough to know that, okay, it's going to be a magic user looking kind of character. Anyway, they seemed pretty excited about the concept, and I decided, well, you know what? I like the concept too, so let's put this one in the pile of yes, we're going to do this one this year. Which I think worked out well for me anyway. I have been wanting to do a Phases of the Moon pin for a very long time. In fact, as you saw, I did not draw the phases of the moon circles in this file because I actually just took those from a file that I had made in 2018. It was around the same time that I did my Yin Yang Wolves pin design. I was going to actually take one of the Howling Wolf heads and have moon phases encircled around it. I ended up not pursuing that for I don't even remember what reason. But the desire to have a pin with the phases of the moon encircling it has been there the whole time. I never really left that alone. I think I have a couple sketches here and there in my sketchbook that show various things with the phases of the moon just because I find it interesting. I think it's a cool part of nature. But up to this point, I had never really had a design where I was like, okay, yes, this is like my take on it. This is what I'm doing with it. I don't mind doing pins with subject matters that other people have done pins of. I just want to make sure that I'm not just doing it because I think it's a popular topic or a popular subject matter. I want to be able to use those concepts in a way that befits my own art. And I think I really did that with having a lunar-themed mage character in Black Cat RPG. Just in general, having the Black Cat RPG project as something that I just work on as I see fit is really just a great framework for me to develop characters, to use ideas that have been, kind of hanging in my head for a while that I really wanted to use. And I think it's really cool that I just have that long-term project that I'm constantly building on. I love that about it. But getting back to the Moon Mage specifically, you can see that I started off with blue as the color scheme here, and I think I was pretty sold on that for a while, and then I think in my head I mentally shifted to purple, but I ended up not doing blue or purple. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with these things. Sometimes you hit the right color in the beginning and you're like, okay, I'm going to stick with it, and other times you're changing colors every 3 seconds as you're working on it. And other times you just kind of change midstream or at the end and you're just like, you know what, what I'm doing isn't working color-wise. Let's try something else. And you just have to find what feels like it works. But I will say for this particular design, I think left to my own devices, I probably would have landed on an all-purple outfit. But what you saw in the final image, I did not end up with an all-purple outfit. And that is because the same child who was enthusiastic about the design itself, I let them have a bit of a say in the color scheme for the final of this pin. So that is why we ended up with yellow and purple, which I'm not mad at. I think it looks very interesting, kind of eccentric, kind of what I might expect from a magic user who is focused around the phases of the moon. And speaking of the phases of the moon, I tried a lot of different things for trying to figure out how to keep them connected and how to make it look. You can imagine I wanted the phases of the moon just kind of floating around the character, but if they're not physically touching somehow, I can't have them there unless they're a separate pin, and I did not want to do that. I wanted it to be one pin. And so the kind of basic ideas I tried were, a single metal circle going all the way around, touching each of them. I, for a little while, had it as two thinner circles, one, at the very outer edge of the moon phases, one at the very inner edge of the moon phases. I liked the way that looked a lot, but I got concerned about the large number of cutout spaces that would be needed for that pin, and some of them ended up being very small, so I wasn't sure that that was really a good solution either. So I just kind of left all of those options there as I continued to work on the character design and added the kind of pointy witch's wizard's hat to them. I was just hoping that I would come up with another solution for how to handle the floating moon phases before I felt like I was finished working on the piece. And so as I was exploring the ideas of how to level up the look of the character, how to add fun details, I just suddenly was like, well, who says they have to be empty-handed? Why don't they have a sphere or a staff or something? And maybe if I'm lucky, those can be used to connect the phases of the moon to the rest of the pin design. And that worked out really well for me, and I was really glad to have had that last-minute kind of thought. It also allowed me to add a bit more purple back into the design. I think the yellow looks good, but I think having more purple as the complementary color really helps the design out. I will say, though, that if these sell through and I go to do a restock order, I'm probably going to choose a different color scheme just because there were a couple of them that I really enjoyed the look of, and I would like the opportunity to have those produced as well. I would also like to mention that all of the very pale yellow is glow in the dark on this particular design, so I think that that's a very cool feature about it. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That really helps me grow my channel. I release a new pin design video every week, and I would love to see you back here for the next one. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.